You're listening to the Culture Cure podcast, episode 2, where we chat to Ian Burton, a leadership coach who made the leap from a toxic culture to create his own coaching company. Ian is a testament to the fact that people don't leave toxic companies, they leave toxic leaders. Hey there. I'm Amanda Rosazza, the Pop Coach, and I help organisations build high-performance cultures. I've worked across multiple industries in the public and private sector, implementing strategies to consistently improve culture, leadership, customer experience, and employee engagement. This is the Culture Cure. I know what you're thinking. How do we cure organisational culture? How do we fix something that's so intangible, so challenging to measure, to quantify? Getting a grip on your organisation's culture can feel like trying to grab onto smoke. Impossible. I'm here to change all that. Let's make the intangible tangible and the impossible possible. Through my unique framework, the Culture Cure, and some incredible conversations with some amazing people, we'll arm you with the tools, systems, processes, and mindset shifts you need to become a culture champion. Ready? Let's go. Ian is a leadership coach who helps leaders to inspire and motivate others to become leaders themselves. He loves helping people to be the very best version of themselves. Let me let you in on a little secret. You can grab onto that smoke I was talking about earlier. Let me introduce you to the Reach ecosystem. Everything you need to develop higher performing teams, leaders, and workplace culture. The unique platform that brings together people and culture and learning and development to deliver new solutions and value. Some people call it organizational development in a box. We call it a capability and culture platform. Whatever you call it, if you have people, you will love the Reach ecosystem. Want to learn more? Head on over to amandarosazza.com, that's AMANDAROSAZZA.com, and book a Reach chat today, or use the links in the description. Ian, thank you so much for joining us today. Absolute pleasure. Now, I know you have an amazing story that you want to share with the listeners, so let's just start there. Tell me all about it.
All right. Well, thanks, Amanda. I started off my career in technology. I was the guy in the back corner there, fiddling around with the computers, up to his armpits, in a computer, all the rest of it. And for the longest time, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, I really wanted to be, I wanted to wind up as the guy. The guy. If there's a problem with the computers, you go see Ian. Ian will make it go again. And that was my sole focus. And I spent a long time working on that. And I became quite good. And in fact, in several instances, when I started off in Perth, I moved via Melbourne, and then came up to Sydney, and each time getting better and better and better. And I became the guy. During this time, though, I worked in a variety of industries. I worked in a variety of companies, small, medium, and large. And one of the things that I noticed is that there were issues, and I couldn't quite put my finger on them because of my mindset at the time. I didn't really let them bother me. But I knew that there was something up with the culture. There was something up with the way people were reacting to each other. There was just things weren't working. I remember after I got into Sydney and I'd gotten into a fairly senior technology position. I remember that it's a large multinational company, and the projects that they were trying to put through, I would look at them and go, this just doesn't make any sense. And I would ask and say, well, what's going on? What are you trying to accomplish? And when they told me what they're trying to accomplish, I'm sitting there going, well, what you're doing isn't going to accomplish that.
Right.
But again, that culture of, oh well, you're just the tech, putting me in that box. What do you know? You don't understand the rest of the business. Was always the response, and I never really got any traction. After being the guy for a while, I was really happy for part of it, and then suddenly it wasn't satisfying anymore.
Okay.
It was like I sort of got, I'd show up at work, I was still very good at what I did, but I didn't get that satisfaction from it.
Yeah, so what changed?
So what changed? I changed.
Okay.
I changed. I'd reached pretty much the pinnacle, and I'd come to what I realize now is a bit of a crossroads. But I had no idea what I was doing. So, I thought, I remember having a long chat with my dad about it, and he said, well, maybe you need to actually take your head out of the weeds a bit.
Okay.
Take your head out of that day to day, and maybe take a look at how, what you do fits into the larger picture. And I thought, well, it's as good as any other option. So I went off and did an MBA.
Amazing. Yeah.
Because, when you're lost and you don't know what to do, that's what you do.
Exactly. Yes.
Especially when no kids, no family or anything, you can get away with that.
Yes.
And it was quite bizarre because, I did all of the different subjects, and then there was one subject at the end which I was terrified by.
Okay.
That was philosophy.
Ah, yes. Lovely.
Now, in philosophy, 10 weeks of lectures. And unlike all of the other subjects, which were mostly or a majority assignment based, which I'm very comfortable with, this 100% exam, written exam, lots of writing. Now, writing scares me. Just from a mechanical perspective, it scares me, let alone thinking on my feet.
Right.
I'd spent 10 weeks going through philosophy going, I have no idea what's going on here. In the middle of the exam, it was like somebody hit me over the back of the head with a sledgehammer.
Wow.
I was writing about Nietzsche.
Nice.
And he talks about the abyss.
Yes.
And I realized that that's where I was. I was facing that abyss of the nothingness of, I've, gotten to that point. What's next? And so from that, in the middle of the exam, no word of a lie, I've had this realization. I've rebuilt forwards, backwards from Nietzsche, right the way back to Plato, all the way up to, more modern philosophy. And I got a distinction out of philosophy.
Well done, Ian. Crushed
Thank you.
it.
What that meant for me is that I realized crystallized very clearly what that decision was then. And I basically had two options. I had the option of becoming the guy, but specialized.
Right.
Really ultra specialized. Or I could rise up and actually work with more people. And I thought about it, and knowing how much effort and the type of ongoing work required for being that specialist wasn't going to suit who I was now.
Right.
It did before, it didn't now. And that's where that tension had occurred.
Ah, there you go.
So by embracing that change and saying, okay, I now need to change, I went off and started saying, well, how am I going to develop myself in this way? And I tried to do the stereotype of, okay, you move into technology management, which was an abject failure. And, again, though, it turned out, looking back on it, it was a culture problem.
Right.
Even because I was still technology, I was still pigeonholed in that techie space, even though that's not even though I'd moved on from there. So I went through and I thought, okay, well, I can go off and do business coaching and all the rest of it, or business consulting, and help people improve and things like that. It still felt a little bit empty until I had a mentor of mine come to me and say, I was complaining about a project at the time that I was working on. And he turned around and said, Ian, you know what you are? And I said, what, a whinger? And he said, no, you're a leadership coach. I told him to get bent.
I love it. I love it.
Not so politely.
Right.
And he said, no, hear me out. Just think about it. Think about it. Go and check what leadership coaching is all about. And darned it if he wasn't right.
I love that.
And again, it's one of those things, there's a couple of different phrases. Can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
Can't read the label from inside the tin.
So true.
Which is, again, it's that whole idea of, somebody external to me could see this is where I was now. And I couldn't see it for myself. It took me over a year to actually internalize that. But now now that I've internalized it, now that I actually own it more, it's quite bizarre because I now, I surprise people. Most people, you walk up to them and say, oh, if you know them, you say, oh, how's it going? And they go, oh, it's going okay, can't complain, nobody will listen, which are all signs of the cultures that they're operating in.
Right, 100%.
People turn around and say, Ian, how's it going? I say, it's going great. Yeah. I love what I do. I'm helping people. I'm making a difference. I am so satisfied. And the surprising thing is, they don't know what to do with that.
They don't, do they?
And I thought about in those couple of instances where, again, it's weird. In a large organization, as I'm sure you know, you can have different cultures floating around. Some groups will have an amazing culture, and that will be full of people saying that, having that same response. I love what I'm doing. This is awesome. This is the best company in the world. Whilst other people are going, yeah, look, can't complain. Nobody will listen. It's paying the bills. And so, that's one of the things that I work with my clients on as they're growing into that leadership space, is how to build that culture where, people love what they're doing. Now, it isn't just about the people. There's the task as well. And it's maintaining that balance of getting things done and enjoying the ride. I remember my grandfather had a wonderful phrase, which somewhat relates, that you can actually had a couple of things to say about these. First of all, you can talk to a prince and a pauper, each are at his own level. So that's very much about relating to people.
Absolutely.
And talking to them in a language that they understand. The other thing is there are two ways to tell somebody to go to hell, and one way they'll enjoy the ride. And again, that's sort of latching on to the, you take it a bit of a long bow on it, but the idea being that motivating people is a personal experience.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my story and how I got to where I am.
That's fantastic. Now, I love that so much, Ian. Tell us a little bit more about, firstly, how you help people. So what that looks like. So through on their personal leadership journey, and also how can they find you? How can they reach out and get in contact with you?
Well, look, the way I work with people, I mostly work with people one-on-one. Because I find that is for the people that I'm working with who are in that state of change, that position of, that staring into the abyss. It is a very, very personal journey. Now, lots of people go through it, but everyone approaches it their own way, they've got their own unique spin. So I work with them at that level. And yeah, a lot of it one-on-one sessions. I utilize a few different tools. Things like Reach. I've used a variety of NLP, a whole raft of tools to help people through that particular journey, and sharing with them along the way, so that they can become the leaders that they want to lead. Because it's interesting that they are often in that same culture space that I was, where you're showing up, but the company's not there for you.
Yeah, that's it.
So, getting them to go recognize why they feel uncomfortable there and what they can do about it. In terms of how to contact me, look, probably the easiest way is to hit me up on LinkedIn. And yeah, sort of we go from there. You can always go to my website, strataconnect.net, or check out, I think I just signed up ianburton.coach.
Ooh, look at you go with the new URL. Love that.
Yep. I as much as I try to, I still can't turn my back on the tech.
Oh, look, it's great stuff. We love the technology. And what I will do, I'll make sure that those links make it into the show notes so that everyone can find you.
Thank you.
Did you know the Culture Cure isn't just a podcast? It's also our unique framework we use to build high-performance cultures. Want to learn more? Book a culture chat today by heading on over to amandarazarza.com. That's AMANDAROSAZZA.com, or using the links in the description. Ready to help your team reach for the stars? The Reach ecosystem gives you everything you need to develop your teams. Leading brands all over the world, including us here at the Pop Coach, are already using Reach. We're helping our teams and our clients create an adaptable, engaged workforce using a data-led approach to improve performance now, not tomorrow, and prepare for the future of work. Are you ready? Head on over to amandarazarza.com, that's AMANDAROSAZZA.com, and book a Reach chat today or use the links in the description. Ian, before we leave you, I've got a really important question for you. Now, this is a make or break question.
Yep.
So you're on a desert island,
yep,
and you're stuck there for the foreseeable future. You can take 3 things with you. What do you take?
Solar panel, battery, mobile phone.
Love that. So and the funny thing is, everyone, Ian is the solutions man. He's all about solving problems. So I am zero surprised that is Ian's answer. I love that so much.
Thank you. Glad I could make your day.
Absolutely, Ian. Thank you so much for being with us on the pod today, The Culture Cure. Have a fantastic rest of the day wherever you are on this fine planet of ours, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.
This has been another episode of The Culture Cure, and I'm your host, Amanda Razarza, the Pop Coach. You can help support us by tagging me on LinkedIn, sharing this podcast with a friend, or leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, this is The Culture Cure.